morning. Good morning, Stephen.
Good morning, Stephen.
Good
How are you
morning,
guys doing?
Clemenza.
Yes, all is well. New Year's Day.
Happy New Year, everyone.
What a day to start our first fucking podcast.
Right? Yeah, guys, welcome to the first ever official God Hates podcast. There was a lot of people who wanted to be here, a lot more who didn't, and you guys were the ones we were able to wrangle in. Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
I don't know if this is an honor or an insult, but I'm glad to be here.
100%.
Absolutely. Well, let's go through and do some intros. Let everybody know who's here. I'm the Degen preacher.
My name is Stephen 19XX. We got Clemenza, MELVINAI. Should I start with my introduction, how I found the project?
Absolutely.
Yeah, let me start. So I found out about this project through another friend of mine who was also on Discord. And then I just went to the GodHatesNftees Discord. I found out about the whitelist a little bit too late, and then went on to secondary to buy my first painters and re-rolled it for suspenders. So, and from there on, I just stick with the project, listened in on spaces, did my own research on Discord, and from there on, I'm still here after 6 months. So I'll pass the torch to Melvin.
All right, Steve. That was a fantastic introduction. Thank you for that. Where do I even start? Like Stephen, myself, I came in right around mint. I did not mint this project. I was here during mint week. The reason why I didn't mint was I did not have whitelist. I was always really busy with a lot of other rug projects at the time as well, so I just didn't have time to get around to this one. But I like the art. I love the art because I'm a Rick and Morty fan. So I ended up buying my first OG, I think 2 or 3 days right after mint. I got myself a Peaky Blinders. I thought that was a good idea. I was really bullish on our third world crew in the beginning, especially our Peaky crew. Let me down though. But that's where I came from originally. Came right around mint. I've been in a shitload of fucking NFT projects. At this point, this is really the only one I'm even in anymore. I've sold everything I basically had to fucking ape into this shit. I've been in and out of a bunch of rugs. Me and Preacher, we've been in a lot of the same projects before together unknowingly. Just so happened to fucking end up on this one together. I'm very glad I did. I've been here for 6 months now. Love it. Love fucking trolling people. I'm out in the community, always trying to break hearts, hurt a little bit of feelings at the same time. It's all love. Yeah, that's what I gotta say. We'll see what you gotta say about it, Clemenza.
Yeah, MELVINAI, that's a nice one. That's pretty much, I come from a different aspect. I guess friends of mine turned me on to God Hates originally. Good friends of mine, DJ Networks fellas and the like. Never minted, watched it, and then got in real early. Believed in what we had, believed in where we were going once we figured out that there was another fraction of people that we had that really weren't driving the bus correctly. And we all knew that. So I really appreciated it once I got in and delved into what we were about, which took a while to figure out. It just became something that I knew that this was the spot for me. After being in quite a number of projects as well, like MELVINAI, some did real well, some didn't, but never that backing that you feel when you have people like in the community that we have. So it's a good feeling. And that was my introduction to God Hates NFTs.
Yeah, I think we all had a similar experience. The very beginning of this project was absolutely my favorite time. There was nothing more degen than those first couple weeks, and that was before anybody knew anybody. So I think we're all here for that same Degen reason. We all stayed for the same Degen reasons, and Degen Preacher, of course, the main man of the show. He's one reason who probably brought us all here. Another reason why we all stay here. It's always interesting to hear his story.
Yeah, no. So, the Degen Preacher. So yeah, like when I first came in, I was still Finder Sneakers was my handle, and so like only real OGs will remember that. But so I came up, and I mean, I'll have to go through and see if I have the DMs from to Peters, but I was unable to get into Discord, right, any of the times. And so I'm sitting there while everybody's getting whitelist and it's getting ready to mint. And I'm like hitting him up. I'm like, you gotta let me up, dude. You gotta let me up. You're not gonna be upset. I promise you're not gonna be upset. And he was like, okay. And he let me up. And like right before I unmuted the mic, it was like, what the fuck are you gonna say, dude? Like, what do you even begin to say? And then it was like, diamond hand to redemption, and that whole thing displayed. And so it was great. It was amazing. And then obviously the response I got from that was, unexpected as fuck. Like there was, who would have expected it? And so it's been a wild 6 months. It's been an amazing 6 months, but I didn't get Peter in Peter fashion, didn't whitelist me. Even so then I'm like, well, man, I've got to spend something. I don't know what has changed. But I was broke. So I swooped down, and that's where I grabbed that exposed brain tape nipples. It was like the cheapest thing on the floor that didn't have Shiba hair. So I smacked it and was like, there we go. That's my token. And then here we are.
No, I kind of want to dig in a little bit more about that. I kind of want to know what everybody's first token was. Since we're here on introductions, does everybody have their original token that they bought, whether it was
Absolutely.
on? Yeah, I know you have the tape nipples. Steven, what was your first OG you ever bought?
My painters, and I know who owns it. I still am trying to get it back. It's in someone's hands. Preacher also knows about the token. And I rerolled it for suspenders. The suspenders I still have.
Sad.
Wow.
Ouch. Clemenza, what was your first token? What was your original?
Too like you, MELVINAI. I think our brains are split. I grabbed a peaky at like 0.07, something like that early on, like a high rank peaky. And again, I couldn't get that whitelist. That was just impossible, man. That was insane when that shit kicked off. There was no way to get anywhere through.
Yeah, so. I did not either. I was nowhere near close to getting the whitelist. I was actually a little upset I missed it. So I kind of slept and actually didn't buy my fucking first OG until like day 3 when they were already at like 0.08 or 0.09. At that point, I picked up that Peaky, but my Peaky had a God Hates helmet, and I thought that was super Degen. I was like, oh, this guy's got a fucking he's got a helmet on. It's got God Hates like carved into it with a knife. I knew nothing about the project, but I knew the art was super Degen. I loved it. Didn't know fucking anything about it, and I was already losing money on other shit, so I didn't really give a fuck if I lost some money on this. So I just started buying some shit I liked, something that resonated with me, and fuck, dude, that first few weeks was insane. And
I wish I would have spent then what I do now.
Fuck, if I could go back and do it all over again, I would have emptied out the bank account even sooner,
Yeah, I just looked and I paid 0.033 for my original OG.
Those were the good days, dude. And we'll never see those days again as we head into 2023 with this project, with all the momentum we've had moving forward. It's just been absolutely insane. It's been a fucking ride, and it's just getting started. Look where we're at. Podcast day 1, 2020. Yeah. Who would have thought?
Yeah, we talked about it many times. If we had the funds on day one, things would have looked so much different right now.
Well, yeah, I think if there was a time machine, this whole project would be owned by about 13 people.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Right. At that price, I mean, I would have, I mean, with the time machine, I'd say, oh, you spent 12, 13 ETH here? Cool. Like, why don't you just front load that, buy a quarter of these OGs at 0.03, So it's definitely been an amazing ride from free to 0.85, right? Crazy.
Absolutely, preaching that first run up. I mean, that first run up was insanity, right? That 1 point, what we hit 1.8,
1.8,
right? Yeah. So that first run up, looking back on it, like that's where a lot of those original heavy hitters were in there, and made a lot of money. That once we found out months later, like, oh yeah, man, that one guy said he had like 10 tokens, and before he turned around, they were gone because they ripped them so quick from him, and they made a ton. They really did. A lot of big people made money off of us at the beginning and just didn't look back. So that's when we really dug in, I think, and became what we became.
100%. Hey, before we start segueing too far into the project, let's finish off some of these introductions. We're all sitting up here with Docs Degens. For anybody who doesn't know what a Docs Degen is, and if you're watching the podcast, that is a PFP that was made by an artist in our project, essentially of us. So this is what we look like in real life, just a cartoon version of it. So we are all docs. That is already known. And so people who may already know us, this might be old news, but, Clemenza, give us some geographical. Where are you at in the world? Tell us a little bit more about yourself.
Well, obviously from the accent, New York, East Coast, Brooklyn, born and raised. That's where I'm from. That's where all of my angst come from, right? That's what made me who I am today. And everybody who knows living on the East Coast is not, especially in New York, not an easy thing to do for anybody. But, you get tough. You make sure you see through the bullshit, and you give everybody a square shake. And that's what I try and do in my life. All my whole entire life, never tried to say a crossword unless it came at me, right? And that's how I protect my family and my friends and everybody around me.
Yeah, I think that's one reason why a lot of people respect you out here in this community as well. It's you're a straight shooter. You treat it as it is. Full transparency, and that's one thing I think a lot of people really respect about you. Steven, you are in another country. You're gonna have to give us a little bit more information about where you're at, a little bit of your background. Let the people know, Steven.
Can you guys hear me? Yes. I'm Steven. I'm from the Netherlands. I live since 2005 in Amsterdam. Was born and raised in the Netherlands, but originally from the southern part of the Netherlands. So people around the Netherlands know I'm from the southern part because I talk with the soft G. And I've been in QA, quality assurance, since 2008. And I've still been working in this specific branch until now. I started my own company, I think around 5 years ago. I work as a contractor, and currently in the works on trying to get myself a second assignment to have more liquidity, just to put in GodHatesNftees ecosystem.
Now, Stephen, real quick, I know you said that your accent was from the southern part of Holland, and I think we may be skipping over an important. You're Asian, right, Stephen?
I'm Asian.
Okay.
I'm from Vietnamese and Chinese heritage.
There you go. That's the accent we're picking up.
Give the people what they want, Steven.
Yep.
That's it.
And my father got rescued from a boat and dropped off a little bit above Amsterdam, and then he moved with my mom and with my older brother and sister to the southern part of the Netherlands to have a bit bigger house.
Boom. There it is.
Love
There
it.
it is.
Love to hear it. Now everybody knows a little bit more about Steven, probably a little more than they wanted to know. But that is one of our favorite space hosts of all time, Steven.
Yeah, I love him.
Love the guy. His humor is absolutely amazing.
No, Steven's one of the funniest guys that I've met throughout this project.
I don't even know if he knows that he's funny.
Yeah, I don't even think that he knows that he's fucking hilarious. But he is. Like when I bring him up on a Titan space and he's got 500-600 people in there, and then he's talking about how he fell asleep for a little bit and now he's just sitting there petting his cat, cooking some noodles. And it's fucking great. It's great. It's great.
Yeah, I tend to be true to myself and don't act differently even among big crowds.
Love
That's
it,
what's up.
That's why we love you. All right, preacher, give him your background. We know why you're from the project, but where are you at geographically? Where that come from?
So I live in Florida, Central Florida, Central East Coast Florida. And so I own my own contractor business down here, dealing in fire, water, and mold. Originally from Indiana, about an hour and a half away from Chicago. So that's it about me. I mean, pretty boring, to be honest with you. Pretty boring guy.
Where's that Southern accent come from if you're from Florida?
So the Southern accents developed from this project. So I try to not use it, and it's just kind of implanted. So it's the side effect. So going so hard as the Degen preacher and really tying into that whole stick, I guess it left some long lasting effects, So, but I'm not mad. I think it's actually helped my closing rate in real life business. I think the Southern draw gives me a touch more reliability. People think that like, oh, I can trust him. He's just a good old Southern boy. So
like, he's willing to break the rules a little bit. You can just tell. Probably never graduated high school. He doesn't know how to do his taxes.
He'll take cash.
Perfect. Love it.
Absolutely. So can we, now that you've met us, right? Are you satisfied now, Melvin? We can get back to the floor prices and talk about.
Wait, I don't think we heard MELVINAI's
geographical
position.
I'm sorry, Melvin.
No, I don't. No, what am I, fucking dog meat?
Well, let's have it, baby.
That's relevant. All right. Well, my name is MELVINAI. I am located here on the other coastline, the best coastline, the West Coast. It is the best coast. I am located here centrally in the Bay Area. I myself am a business executive, so I just run shit and fucking sell things. That's just what I do. On the side, I like to do a little bit of fitness stuff. I used to train a lot of athletes, 10 years ago. Don't do that anymore. Just do that for fun. Most of the time right now, I do just run the sales side of a tech company. I'm a business executive, so I deal with a lot of the business development. That is what I do. On my free time, I like to fucking troll people. I like to have a good time, pop in here in Web3, hang out with you fellas. So that is it. That is MELVINAI. Back to floor price. You got it.
There we go. We go. No, yeah, I think I think where we were at on the OGs from free to 0.849. I mean, that's crazy. And it could have been done quicker, but no doubt we've had a huge problem with people draining liquidity from our project, right? I mean, I think that's been well known. Luckily, I think we've always been able to stabilize. In here with this last campaign that we ran, I feel like it really stuck. I feel like this is where we're at, right? What do you guys think?
I definitely agree with that, Preach. I mean, you had that momentum, right? And really, once Peter came in and started making those different little scenarios for people to be able to grab an OG and then maybe get an ape hater and those different, as we start branching out, and as we started branching out, those people started coming in, and those little gimmicks are great. It really helps push, and then once you're in, you understand what this community is about. And I think that's why it has a lasting or a longer lasting effect versus just that one run up we had and then that slam back down. That's not good for anybody, right?
No, absolutely not. I think one of the other things that helps carry us is really the online activity more than anything, though, right? The fact that in this market, I think people want to see a strong community. They want to see a lot of people passionate about the project. And I don't think we have a shortage of that, right? I think we have that by the boatloads. And that's shown just from the amount of people that interact with us daily, right? I mean, you guys show up all the time. I mean, here you are on a podcast,
Yeah, 4 a.m. is a little bit difficult time for me, but I'm here.
Steven showed up. There's no doubt.
Well, we weren't sure if he was going to show up, but he showed up. Steven, you never.
Yeah, we had to wake him up a little bit.
We'll have to adjust it and try to figure out a time for you, Steve. Unless we can get you to switch over to just straight on living your life as an American.
Yeah, I can adjust to that. Only during weekends.
Well, fair enough.
Fellas, we forgot the fucking most important person in this fucking building, right?
Oh, we're silly as fuck.
Man. Yeah, no, you're not wrong.
We forgot Peters, the man, the myth, and the legend, and what he did for us, with us, is amazing and unheard of. I mean, the very first time we seen him give away that Bay Ape, the mutants, that was, my jaw was down to the ground watching that twit space and watching that man give those away and send them right away. There was no lag in that man and his conviction and what he said he was going to do. And he's done it day in and day out for us.
When was the first time you guys remember meeting Peters for the first time? What was that first space? I think the first time I ever heard his voice, I was like, what the fuck is this? I thought it was another Goblins or some shit. I had honestly no idea who Peters was. I had no idea who the founder of this project was. But how about you guys? You guys remember it all?
No, it was that same whitelist space. It was the mint space. And yes, I was like, what in the fuck is this guy doing? Like, who is this? And there was just always a draw toward him. I don't know why, but even throughout the beginning, like you were talking about the Basie thing, and that was like a big thing that we were fudded on a lot. Remember that everybody would always make the post like, oh, this guy's just rugging you. He's not giving away a Basie. How can a free mint give away a Basie? And then when he did it, it was like a big boost for all of us, especially me, because I had been kind of leading the charge to believe this guy, right? I mean, throughout the whole time, that was always kind of the burden that I had, was like, I have to trust this guy, but I don't know him. But if I act like I don't trust him, then nobody else will either, and thankfully he's only made me look way fucking cooler than I really am.
Peters is a fucking legend. You know, we definitely could not make it through these intros without, letting people know who the founder of this project is. A little bit about himself. I wish I knew more, but I guess that's the best part of the whole lure is not really knowing who Peters really is, where he's from, how old he is. I guess he's supposed to be 67 years old. Project was started by him and his drug dealer friend, supposedly, or his fucking grandma or someone. Fuck, dude, I don't even know at this point anymore. There's just been so many stories. I don't know what to believe.
Yeah, I think for me it doesn't. It's mattered less and less as he's hit these marks, right? Like you look at this point, everything I have is worth more, and so whoever he is, he's a fucking genius. And it's in the last 6 months, I've grown to be friends with him, right? And that's odd to say, with not ever meeting somebody face to face, but I love Peter, man, and Peter loves this entire project, this community, and you can just tell in all of his interactions. I think it's painfully obvious.
Yeah, Peters is a fucking legend, dude. Everybody loves Peter. Anybody who's ever interacted with Peters knows that Peters is a fucking legend. I gotta check on our fucking co-host real quick. Steven, are you sleeping?
No, I'm still here. I'm just listening to all of you guys.
Steven is not sleeping. He must have that TNR.
Oh, I did put another cup of coffee.
Yeah.
Did you get your TNR shipment?
No, I didn't get my TNR yet. So I have to go with the local brand over here.
Oh, Steven, what a shame, bud. That's probably why you're so droopy, dude.
Yeah.
Before we started this, I got all geared up with one of my chocolate milk TNR combos. So I'm sitting pretty nice. I do need to order more though. So I'll have to probably go on and grab that NFT off OpenSea, the TNR coffee NFT.
Yeah, I actually set myself up with that subscription service he has where they send you coffee every month. I knew I could not go without it. After the first time I had TNR coffee, I was like, fuck, dude. I mean, we got some good fucking coffee too, right where we're at, but when I had TNR coffee, I was set, dude. And they ship everywhere, they'll ship internationally, so shit is fucking bomb, dude. If you haven't had it yet, Clemenza, have you had TNR?
I have the East Coast company. Of course, I support that 100%. However, I put my TNR in a magnet. You guys could look that word up. It's a different taste than the percolator. And yes, TNR is definitely the way to go, my man.
Well, I'll tell you a funny story real quick about it. My son was over last weekend, and he had one of these iced coffee drinks that I make with the TNR. And so he was asking about it, and I had about a half of a bag of it that was open and a whole fresh one. So I said, well, here, when he was going to leave, I gave him the leftover bag. He thought it was neat. It had the God Hates branding on it. And so he took it home. Well, his mom, my ex-wife, and her boyfriend, he said he wasn't going to have it. Right. So he said, I'm not having any of that, this Degen preacher bullshit. I'm not drinking that. And they made a pot of it. And the guy is begging her to ask how I can get them some more of this shit now. So if that's not a testament to how good it is, right? I got my ex-wife's boyfriend asking her to talk to me about how to get the shit. So shout out to TNR Coffee.
TNR fire fucking coffee. Gotta love it. Gotta drink it. Gotta have it.
Yeah, and so after that huge sweep, now it's just kind of a wait and watch, right? See what Peters comes up with on the give back, the giving those away. So hopefully he does some wallet investigations before he just goes checking them out, but we'll see what he does. You guys excited about that?
Yeah, he's always got something up his sleeve. He's always doing fucking cool shit like that. So I stopped worrying about like Peter's giving things away. Like I've earned and fucking made so much free shit in this project from the beginning. I just like, I almost feel bad getting anything else for free. I like some of the spaces giveaways I don't even do anymore, because I'm just like, fuck, dude, I've already won so many OGs and apes and shit. I just feel like other people should win them at this point. But that's just how Peters does it, dude. He swept what, fucking 60 ETH on Christmas. Was that Christmas? The day before Christmas? I don't even remember.
Yeah, from the World Cup sweep, he had said that he'd give away a basey if his team won the World Cup. His team won, and then the community actually put the brakes on it and said, just turn that around, spend that here. And so obviously, in true Peters fashion, he did exactly what we asked him to do, and he swept those tokens up. And so it'd be a good time to grab one of those OGs if you didn't already have one, to hopefully try to be involved in whatever he's cooking up, for sure. But yeah, Melvin, didn't you won shoes, right? Didn't you get a
I've won a
skateboard
bunch.
recently too?
Yeah, I got, fuck, dude. If I can try to remember all the things I've gotten so far, I've won a couple OGs. I won an OG for making fun of VZ's mom. Peter loved that VZ mom joke, why VZ was ugly, and then I won another OG from Troy's butt fart joke. You know, classic joke, by the way. That's probably why Troy hates me, was because I made fun of why his butt farts. Anyways, yeah, but I've won a few things. I've won a pair of custom Air Force Ones. I just just recently won that skateboard deck. Fuck, I love this community, dude. You just participate, you hang around. Peters is bound to bless you sooner or later. You know, it's one of the best things about having that DVDA we all got for free, just being here in the project. That has a 1 ETH floor. You know, so not surprised when Peters continues to give back. Like, we got a 1 ETH floor price when he was giving away bases and shit when our floor was 0.2. Just imagine what kind of giving away he's going to do when our floor is above 1 ETH. You know,
Yeah,
2020 and bring a lot of happy people. It's going to change a lot of lives.
So I'm going to touch on something, Steven and Clemenza.
Yeah.
And see what you guys think about it. What are your guys' opinions? I know Peters signed us up earlier in this week for they always call it collabs, and I know people who know me know this, but I hate the word collab. If we're not creating together, then it's not a collab, right? We're kind of just hanging out in a space together. But anyway, we did a joint space with a project that was also started out free, from what I understand, the Genuine Undead. Were you in there on those spaces, Stephen? Did you listen?
Yeah,
to that?
I was there. I could see, let's say, more engagement from our side than compared to the people from the Genuine Undead. So at the same time, it's good to see that we all interacted with each other. But I do feel that our community is like more organically. We say what we want. And my first impression, I didn't get that from the Genuine Undead people. So this is all I could say about it for now, because I don't really know those people to begin with.
I always think it's a good thing when we pop in with other spaces, only because I like when we see the metrics of what's bought when we're in there, right? And that kind of gives us a gauge of who we're dealing with and how they're interacting with us. And that's ultimately the goal, right? How they interact with us. And we with them, but we have to like who they are, and those people seem genuine as much as genuine could be, in terms of speaking and what they had to lay down to us. But I saw we got a couple of sales off of it, and if we could keep doing that, then I'm all for going in there. Just the collabs obviously scare us, because we've seen in our own dealings and in dealings here that's not definitely the way to go for us all the time. we tend to, it feels to me that we tend to do better when we're within ourselves.
Yeah, I kind of like I'm usually fucking against these kind of collabs and shit. I think they're most of the time just fucking terrible ideas because it just usually drains liquidity from one community to the other. And that's exactly what we've experienced in the past too. That's why I wasn't too excited about, collabing with anybody. I think the tides are changing a little bit though. What I noticed recently with this current, if you even call it a collab, is I think a lot of people in our community already value the tokens. And what usually happens in collabs is people will floor their shit to go buy tokens from the other ecosystem. And that's why I don't usually like collabs, because there's only so much money to go around between two projects. But I didn't see that happening this time. I didn't see anybody selling OGs to go buy undead tokens. No, it was actually quite the opposite. And I thought it was smart with what Peters did, offering genuine undead holders who had an undead token, anybody who bought an OG from our collection, a free ape hater, because that was a really good way of kind of showing that respect to that community and extending that offer to them while not necessarily like damaging our integrity. So that was cool. If we get more collabs like this in the future, I could see that being pretty beneficial, but generally I've never really seen that happen before, so yet to be seen, but we'll see.
Yeah.
This recent one wasn't too bad, so I don't know. Most of the genuine undead guys are pretty cool. At least the interactions I've had with them, they've all been pretty cool, other than Kara getting her wallet drained by that fucking dude. But
Yeah, and keep in mind, I mean, that was one of the things I like those guys over there. All right, I suppose as much as you can. I don't know them. They seem friendly enough. The one thing that I would say is, of course, the Dr. Boom, super nice guy, super intelligent. I think if I remember correctly, he's a doctor. But it's that third world voice for me. It's hard for me to keep attention with those British voices, man. It's like this droning thing in my brain. And the other thing is, we did collect a couple of people from them, and from what I understand, it felt pretty healthy. They came in, did their thing west, and tried to get an OG. They kept their tokens, from what I understand, which is fine. Nobody wants. I don't ever want somebody to just floor, or I would never tell somebody or encourage somebody to floor a project that we were talking with. Um, the one thing I didn't really enjoy was, everything that we had said. They'd ask us the question, well, what are you doing with this? What are you doing with this? And then we would tell them, and then it would upgrade what they were doing. Well, now they're doing a marketplace and they're going to do a podcast. And, so that kind of, I didn't appreciate trying to be leveled. Obviously there's a reason why they DM'd us. They, felt like they were going to be able to benefit from us coming in. I had noticed, like, going into it, like an hour or two before the space was scheduled, there was a huge influx of sweeping on their floor from their members. So I honestly believe that they were front loading, thinking that we were going to come in and get bullish and roll out on them. And in fact, it was quite the opposite. So as long as we continue to do collab spaces like that, to where it's either we just learn about another project or we gain. But I don't think anybody ever wants to see somebody sell out to chase something else.
Yeah, well, I think people are starting to become more wise to just knowing that, the God Hates ecosystem is literally one of the few projects in the last few months that has brought profit. So like when we do these collabs, people think to themselves, at least from an investment perspective, like, where's my money better at? And there's just not a lot of projects that are out right now that make sense to sell our tokens to buy those ones, when our tokens are the ones that are substantially growing in value. So I like the collabs lately because I think we have a good, strong community, and we know that our community members aren't going to be selling our tokens for other the collabs or whatever. But it's a new year, and I think we're getting closer to pulling ourselves out of this fucking bear market. And the more money that's going to be floating around here around tax season, it's going to be interesting. It's going to be fun. See these floors start to go up.
Yeah, I could see the podcast also as a good way to recap on what's happened throughout the previous week and make changes and adjustment on that to keep improving ourselves as a community, but also with the podcast itself. Can you guys still hear me?
We can still hear you, Steve. Yeah.
Yeah, we're here, buddy. We're here.
Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, I'm always hesitant, like I said, about the collabs, but we'll definitely we've got a lot going for us. We've got obviously painters, which shits all over the genuine times or genuine untimes or whatever anybody's got going on. And so it's always hard for me to pay attention to another project that we work with or cohabitate with for a space. Because I just know what we have here, but that doesn't, I guess, go without hiccups. Not every person we come in contact with hits off with us right away, though. So one example of that would be, I know, Steven, I think you were asleep during this, but when Banana King came up.
Yeah, Banana King came up, I fell asleep, or I was asleep before that.
Yeah. So he came up to talk about his banana hoarding.
Why am I not surprised?
What, that he was asleep?
Yeah.
Yeah, he did it.
Not drinking that tea or coffee.
Yeah, usually around the time when Banana King comes up, it's 2 a.m. My time, I think, or later.
Isn't he? I thought he was a third worlder too, no?
Not sure.
I missed that as well. I miss Banana.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he is. But no, so he came up, talked about the banana thing. And we had talked a little bit before it that day. I still see today, though, they're repumping the Swiss NFT fund, claiming that the flooring of the token was in fact due to a FUD campaign. I can only imagine that that's directed directly at me and my band of hillbillies. CLEMENZA being one of those, I think, right? Were you piled into the hillbilly stack?
He got piled. Yeah, but I didn't realize that was the guy who actually called me a hillbilly priest. That's I know you were trying to get our attention, but it just totally, I got lost in space there.
Yeah. So we'll see. NFT Swiss Fund round 2, I guess. They're gonna be doing their round of campaigning, and
they're like an all-time low right now. Who the fuck is gonna buy that shit?
Well, so here's what's so great. Here's what's so great about it. The game plan is all those tokens that they bought in the first round sweep, now they own those. So to bring value back to their token, they're going to sell the OGs, buy NFT Swiss Fund coin, and burn them to increase the value.
That sounds like a fucking pyramid scheme and a scam if I've ever heard of it.
Well, it's definitely questionable, but this all from the guy who suggested we buy call centers and have people sell NFTs over the telephone. So I don't know what the guy's background is in business. In the beginning, I felt like he was pretty well-to-do in business, and the more I hear his ideas, the further away from that conclusion I find myself. So it's crazy.
That's what it sounds like to me when you try and throw as much shit against the wall and see what sticks, right? That's kind of the vibe I got off of him. But he stood up there and was ready to take his fucking lumps, though, whether it was right or wrong.
Yeah, I'm just it's the transition for me, right? So Peters has directed me to be gentler and kinder, and I think I've found a pretty happy median. I know the guy is liable to get upset and floor his stuff. So I'm not gonna poke that bear. I'm not gonna poke that bear.
You're soft as fuck.
Yeah, for me,
Right.
it's I'm not going to buy anything of the Swiss NFT fund, global NFT fund, or anything, let's say, not related to NFTs in general, set up by a community member from our ecosystem. I'm only going for OGs, mutants, apes, DFDAs, senior bananas. Still need to get myself a rotten banana and Docs Degen. So that's it for me from this ecosystem. And of course, I'm eagerly waiting for future mutations.
Yeah.
You heard-
Speaking of that, did you see that post that Peters put out?
Yeah, I saw that, but I already talked with him during my interview, and the first thing I asked was about future mutations. Back then, I think I had 2 senior bananas, and of course, I almost burned all of them and kept one, and then restacked back to 2 again.
Well, okay. Well, let's touch on that again, though. You said during your DVDA interview, you asked about it. Well, what did he say about him?
Yeah, so he said he kept the total volume of 400 and something, and he kept it to 200 just to reserve the additional 200 for future mutations.
There you go. So, based on that kind of riddle equation that he put up, do you think that final step? I mean, there's a Sir Banano, that's obvious, right? There's a rotten
100%.
banano.
100%.
There's an ape. Is that a mutant or an OG? Do we think?
I don't know actually, to be accurate, because it shows like a wizard or something as some icon. So it could be a mutant, it could be an ape, but I don't think it's an ape. Could also be an OG.
Well, so the third one's an ape, right? So it's the
Yeah,
banana, the beaker, the ape, and then I think that might just be the closest emoji he could find to an OG, something holding something, right?
yeah.
That's kind of where I went with it. Clemenza, Melvin, did you guys see this?
I'm terrible at riddles and shit, so I usually leave it up to you guys to figure it out, and then I buy whatever you want me to.
And in general, I would also not sleep on apes to begin with, because there's still like 1,000 something left to be minted. And I would figure that you also need the apes for future mutations. So this is also why I try to reacquire the apes that I lost throughout the burn. And I think I hold a solid bag of apes right now, around 30.
Oh,
Yeah, I've been watching and monitoring
Yeah,
all these things. Yeah, you feel a little bit naked with your 15 preacher apes that you don't want to burn.
I'm looking at the 8th floor now. I'm like, well, son of a bitch.
Yeah, I think it'll be interesting to see what happens with those apes, because they're just going to keep using them as burn mechanisms. So, whatever mutation comes out in the future, those
Yep,
apes are need to be used.
you'll definitely be needing them. Of course, I
Just
won't.
sucks.
Sorry.
I said it was just kind of sucks though, because every time I look at the ape floor, I like them all. Like I feel like most of the shitty ones have been burned by now, so it's just like
Yeah,
you're just
that's
burning cool apes.
yeah, that's probably the biggest problem to begin with. Trying to find an ape that's suitable to burn, and the closer you get throughout the process, the more difficult it becomes.
Yeah, no, that's actually true. I'm looking at the 8th floor right now, and I see on the floor, 0.21. There's a rank 1170 zombie with the "Let's fucking go" monkey on top of its head. There's a rank 915 with the sandbox trait. And there's a rank 1153 Melvin Devil combo with the Mujan Boo fur and the bubblegum coat. So there definitely is still some heated items on there for sure.
Before the mutants came out, I used to love looking at the ape floor. I would look at it every day. Just love I still do love the art of the apes. Sometimes my attention's just pulled elsewhere, but I love coming back to these apes and looking at them. I burned all my shit once. I got nothing left to burn, which means I got to start hitting these floors again.
Did Banana King also request to speak on Spaces yesterday when Sir Peters was on?
You know, I heard something about that, but I didn't see that request while I was there.
I saw it, but the speakers slots were full, so I decided let's see what happens if someone pops out. But he didn't get on to speak with Sir Peters, but that's his own fault for requesting too late.
Well, there you have it. You know, we had Peters on the Space New Year's Eve, probably one of the liveliest impromptu spaces I've seen from him in a while. You guys were there for that?
It was fucking hilarious listening to
Yes.
him interview that fucking Dahmer's dude, that piece of shit.
I know.
Just to hear him, taken aback a little bit, like, you know, when you tell your dad something that you don't really want to tell him.
I had put in the chat that I couldn't get a read on him with it. You know, it was one of those things. It was for the first time. I was kind of embarrassed. I was like, oh no. Especially because he caught a bunch of people wearing them, and when he came up, he had no idea. He kept calling him Jason Dahmer, and he was like, "Is this the engineer that built the rocket that did da da da?" And it's like, no, he ate people. And his response to that was so. I could tell it threw him off a little bit. You know, he had some funny about it, but the fact that he didn't want one in his wallet says volumes to me. And it's my fault. I get it. I mean, I was the first one to purchase one, and then, you know, somebody saw it in my wallet, brought it up in Spaces, and then we know how that goes.
Sometimes I forget you think that we're dealing with cult-like behavior. And when you fucking act, everybody acts. And when somebody saw you have that Dahmer's in your wallet, it was fucking over. It was Dahmer fest, dude. It was fucking Dahmer's everywhere. People buying $11 Twitter fucking accounts so that they could put Dahmer's as their fucking hex PFP, like crypto or a crypto Republican, dude. He's just absolutely starting to embarrass us.
Well, I definitely regret giving it as much wind as we have. You know, I think my long term with that was just to simply hold a few of them, and it'd be one of those weird things when we hit 69 ETH and people start going through our wallets. You know, one of those dumbass things they see in there that we have some ignorant price on, and boom, you know. Especially after I met the guy, like after meeting the guy was almost, and there was a couple of real diehards that felt the same way after actually hearing the story behind it. It was kind of knocked some of the wind out of some sails, I think. His comment about having to have Yacht Club in the title of a project for it to be successful, but I can't think of a single one outside of the original. I thought that was ouch. That was ouch.
Yeah, I'm fucking just sick of seeing them. They're ugly as fuck, and I have 5 of them because I minted them. But now that I see the floor up a little bit, I think I might fucking sell these things. They fucking get them out of my wallet while they have some value.
Well, did you see a gold sold for 0.25?
Oh my gosh.
I was reading to the chats a little bit. Didn't it get sold for a higher price? Not that it matters though, but I get the feeling things are moving too quickly with the Jeffrey Dahmer Yacht Club.
Yeah, I think it was 0.25 was what it sold at today.
I do remember hearing that, Preach. Yeah, I got to take another look, but it was 0.2 something. Absolutely.
I started the Jeffrey Dahmer trading cards, and I fucking sold a couple of them right as I minted them, dude. It's, I guess, people just taking advantage of that Dahmer. This Dahmer project did the same thing. Netflix show was funny, but
Now, that Netflix show was number 3 for downloads. I had pulled the stat up yesterday. I was amazed. 1 billion downloads, bro. It's number 3 ever in Netflix. So that right there, you know, it has something there, right? It's just not maybe with what we got there with this guy.
Yeah, people love that true crime shit. Like they're just addicted to that kind of fucking that, you know, American true crime. It was a good show. I'll give it to him that. You know, the dude is fucking creepy as fuck. He eats people and he's fucking weird as fuck, and he's like kind of homosexual about it, which is not a problem, but when you're like being homosexual about it and then eating people, like it's already kind of weird. So that it's just like, you know, and then now it's an NFT project. So I think that's why Peters, you know, and that was the funny thing is Peters really doesn't know who this Jeffrey Dahmer dude is. All he knows is that he fucking eats people. So I'm glad that he didn't put it as his PFP, because that definitely would have been, that would not have been.
When he'd asked me, Preacher, what do you think? That's when I kind of think that. So the general vibe that I got was that he would rather that not be something that follows us, right? And so the fact that he asked me whether it should be his profile picture, and I said no, I think was like his fatherly way of being like, well, then there you go, right? Put it in your hidden wallet and shut up. And so that's kind of where I'm at with it.
Yeah, I didn't really think of it like that, but that's true. That is.
Oh yeah, he asked him if he would put the COO or something at the end of his.
He asked me how much money it would take for me to change my bio to the community manager of that, and I said, there's not enough money, Peter. I would not. And then he asked if he should put it as his profile, and I said no. And then it was kind of there it goes. So my hand is officially off of that project. I'll remain a holder. I might try to take advantage of the high floor right now, since the people who likely will buy them won't hear this podcast until we release it later on in the week. So by then, hopefully my gold's been sold off for an insane profit.
Yeah, I don't have anything in my bio, so that's always good. There's no mentioning of Jeffrey Dahmer's or any other Degen tokens that I'm in. So
well, now that's the other thing. Let's talk about this, because this is something that's not this is off the cuff real quick. What does everybody think about the fact that we have kind of transitioned a little bit into talking about not necessarily other competitor projects, but these almost sports bet style Degen call outs that we do? Has anybody heard any negative feedback from that yet?
You know, I've always been a big proponent of it, Preach, only because we're so cemented here, right? And you've said it on Spaces, and everybody hears it. You're not maneuvering around here. So in order to create anything else, you have to maneuver elsewhere. And that's all I was saying way back when I was trying to get that point. Like, we're not diversifying, we're just trying to make more. And I get Mel's point of pulling liquidity out, but where else can we get that? And if it's not a call out, I'd rather trust a call out from us than somebody else, right? It's at least it's us, is I guess my feeling.
And that was kind of my stance on it.
It's
you
like
think it's what?
I'm not a huge fan of it. I don't love it, because I feel like it's just a waste of fucking money, honestly. Really, it's just a waste of money. It's like when the whole Trump cards was popping off, and that was fucking popular. You guys, or people in the community, ended up making some, I don't even know what it was, fucking JFK trading card, and it was like you guys were just buying that shit from each other. You're literally just like taking each other's money. No one's making money off of anybody else other than each other. So to me, it's like, what's the fucking point at that? I guess if it works out, like the Trump trading cards was one of the first ones I actually saw work out, and I think that's just the power of Trump. I don't think that has anything to do with NFTs or the fucking project or nothing like that. I think that was just Trump Daddy doing Trump Daddy. But the other ones, it's just, I don't know. I think it's just a waste of money. The likelihood of you making money off of fucking any of that shit is not great. So,
Well, no, I gotta disagree. You know, I mean, you can definitely get hurt, and I think I try to do a pretty good job of only referencing projects or plays that I myself or Steven are in, right? And so I try to be super transparent because, you know, in some way it might be able to help deter somebody from making a play, right? If I do something that's the popular trending move and I make it and it sucks, then maybe that stops other people. They can do it vicariously through myself or Steven. You know, or some of the times people follow me into things that Sartoshi call out that was made at the beginning of the week. That's double. I mean, that's a solid in and out if you want. And you could have definitely grabbed 4 of those and dropped them off, 2 of them real quick and still held 2 to see what that art drop is. I haven't seen any negative feedback from it, but oftentimes I don't, right? So a lot of my stuff is in a vacuum. And so it's unless somebody in a cult chat says something, I likely don't see that. So I didn't know if any of you guys
idea, you know, and I think if we can make money, obviously, especially make money as a collective, then you can just bring that money back into the project. I think it's a great idea. The more we can prove that it's an actual, you know, something that can happen in reality, you know, I think the more people can get behind it. I personally haven't fallen in on any of those Degen plays, you know, but it's just going to take a little, you know.
Well, like, you know, that Trump play that a lot of us made. I mean, there were some OGs that were brought home from that. So
jealous. No, you have my regrets. It was Polygon on that one because I'm a Trump daddy guy, you know, but I would like to see more of these in the future for sure. And I think that's the best part about us as a community is because we do move as a fucking unit, we can move floor prices. So if you find the right projects and it makes sense and we can create a hype and move a needle, then sure, I think it makes sense to do that as a whole. So yeah, it would be cool to see more of that. I just hate seeing the fucking Jeffrey Dahmers out there, especially when they are just a bunch of fucking dumbasses.
And also the one of the reasons why I bought like a few of those tokens, people will see, look into my wallet and see potential plays that I might do, and it's not sure that it's the correct play, but it does give us as a community some more attraction from outside potential investors.
Yeah, I could see that. I mean, I could definitely see that.
I just loaded such a fat dab in my fucking dabber. I don't know about you, but
I was just thinking I wanted to do that too.
I'm about to get super lit right now. I got this new fucking Dr. Dabber Evo. What you call it?
I'm waiting for it.
Yeah, I got the rainbow colored one. It's all tie dye, I guess. It's
I got the Sean O'Malley.
Yeah, the Sean O'Malley. Yeah, the Sugar Sean one. I got it from. So
you've been dealing with late Miss Q then.
Mrs.
From
Q.
Brookland in the community.
God, that's right. Yep, she's got that smoke shop. She hooks it up. I know you get discounts if you're community members out here. She's hooked up a couple people. She also ships internationally. I'm pretty sure she's sending Steven a care package out to the.
I'm waiting for it. Took me a long time just to get the Chili Palm shirt that was for free. Had to pay shipping costs. Had to pay additional taxes just to receive the shirt. But we'll see what happens with the care package that I got from Miss Q.
Oh, you're going to love it. Once you get that Dr. Dabber in your hands, there's nothing more smooth.
Yeah, for 100%. Because I was already looking at, let's say, potential concentrates that I could buy over here and to use it.
Yeah, you probably won't have anything as good as what Miss Q has. I know the Brookland Smoke Shop out there, they got some of that most fire that you can get, and she ships too. She takes care of people out here in the community, and I know if you get your package, Steven, you're really going to enjoy that fucking Dr. Dabber.
100%. I'll invite my friend over because he smokes joints as well, and I'll let him hit a bong as well to see how he will deal with it or react to it.
Yeah, once Miss Q brought out that 7 gram, it was a 31 gram banana joint with 7 grams of dab oil on it to Miami, I knew she didn't fuck around. I knew the Brookland Smoke Shop had the fucking fire, and that banana joint smoked for like 2 hours. That thing was fucking insane. So you're gonna love it. Miss Q, definitely hook it up. Brookland's where it's at.
Yeah, no, those banana joints in Miami were unreal, dude. Yeah, and it's like 30 grams of flour and then 7 grams of concentrate. And those are actually available. I don't know if you saw that special menu she had, but you can get the mini ones for 150 and the large ones for 300, which honestly I think is a great deal for that piece of art, number one, and then the amount of product that's in it. I mean,
so you can get a custom fucking banana with 30 grams of fucking weed and 7 grams of dab oil for $300.
yeah, if I'm not mistaken.
That's a pretty good fucking deal, honestly.
Well, and the fact that she also deals with our ecosystem tokens as currency. I think last I heard she was still taking ape and mutant OG combos for products and items out of the shop. So if that's not an amazing utility inside the community, and how many other people's tokens can do that?
I gave up one of my OGs for the package.
Oh, that's dope.
I think Cake Buddies gave up 3 apes, as far as I know.
He did, Steven. You're right. He did. And I had some packages sent to cousins in Italy. It took a while, but they are fucking flabbergasted with what we sent them. So they were very appreciative. And Brookland Smoke Shop out of DC, I got to say that she holds it down better than any places, head shops I've seen around in New York, Jersey. I mean, that place was pretty wild in terms of what she has and has to offer.
Yeah, I know Mr. Q just joined the community recently too. We met him out in fucking Miami, and both of those, Mrs. Q, Mr. Q, they can party. Love those guys. They were fun as fuck. I can't wait to go out there though. I actually want to go to their smoke shop and check out what they got. It would be cool to go fucking see it. But out here in California, you know, it might be a minute, but they were super nice when we were in Miami. They invited us out there, so we might go out and say what's up sometime when the weather's nice. Go see that Brookland smoke shop. No, that was part of what I'm gonna try to do here in 2023. I'm gonna try to travel more. Fucking living in an RV and shit, nothing better to do than just get out and fucking travel and shit. So I don't really make New Year's resolutions usually, but that's just what I'm gonna try to be doing here 2023. You ever do New Year's resolutions, Clemenza? Is that something you do, or do you just
Mel, there's the tough things to goals and shit like that to write down. It was always tough for me, right? New Year's resolutions are great. I think you just kind of my own personal resolution is just to get my personal relationships, right? The people that I love the most for real in my own life. And I think a little bit of it had to do with, some stuff that some of our community members just went through. And it reminds you that is what's so important. So to work on relationships with my wife, with my kids, with my friends, and continue that to make it, even people like to reach out, people that I haven't seen in a while, and I know that they're by themselves or whatever the case is. Those are the types of things that I'm going to try and do as we get further into this year that I've never really paid attention to, right? But I know it's important for that other person because you could see it sometimes, and it doesn't hit you until way after. And I'm going to make it a point.
One of my New Year's resolutions is to spend more time with my family. And at the same time, I do notice like friends around me are slowly getting settled, having a wife, maybe kids, doing their own thing. So at the same time, I consider you all as my friends as well. And one of my New Year's resolutions is to smoke less tobacco, because I know all of you guys dislike spliffs. So this is also why
Yes.
I got an Evo boost at the same time. But I think it's also much healthier to smoke less tobacco in general, seeing it the costs keep increasing every year.
Well, yeah, cost and health, and it tastes like shit, Stephen.
I know, but this is the only option we got over here.
Yeah.
That's why we are third world and not the first world.
No, Amsterdam has some of the finest.
I know.
You can't tell me there's a shortage of that there. And yeah, I don't typically do the New Year's resolutions. You know, I like the small obtainable goals. And I work on those all the time in business and, you know, IRL and IRL Web3. So yeah, I don't really have anything I'm shooting for. You know, hopefully I'm able to maintain the same energy that I have the last 6 months for the next 6. And I don't see why it wouldn't be there, right? The larger the community grows, the more people we get drawn into the project, drawn into Web3 in general, and drawn into this podcast. I think will add energy to a lot of people who are maybe lacking it even. So I can tell you that I'm feeling fine about it. And I'm excited to see what the new year brings us.
100%. There's like the 1 million memes, future mutations, all new features from the GodHatesNFT marketplace. Still loads of things to happen within our ecosystem. I'm just looking forward to it.
And we got this fucking podcast, huh? How about this thing, yeah? This is gonna be fun as fuck. I know this is just our first one. We're breaking out the kinks, but you know, we're gonna have future guests on, special guests. We might have some famous people on here. We might have some celebrities. We got some connections here in this real world. So you motherfuckers, you better hang tight. You're all gonna enjoy what we're gonna bring here. You know, I definitely can't wait to see what happens in these next couple months. 2023 is gonna be fucking off the chain. Senior Peters is going to always continue to deliver. We're going to make sure that, you know, we're going to make him proud. Whatever he tells us to do, fucking button down, stand pat. We're going to make sure we fucking do that shit. You know, can't wait.
Yeah, it's crazy to have started 6 months ago and be where we're at. You know, I think the first show went great. I had a lot of fun with you guys here today. And I look forward to watching and working on this project here and seeing it evolve. Big shout out to Painters, who is the behind the scenes king of all of this shit. Without whom we'd likely wouldn't be half of where we are. So he pushed this forward, and huge thanks to him. Can never say enough good stuff. Shout out Painters, Channel 4 News. If you're not fucking following them, you need to. So
you're a fool if you're not following Painters News.
Absolutely. Clemenza, how did you think it went?
Absolutely. I definitely think the podcast is something that will be and is going to be instrumental in what moves us. And so people could truly understand when they ask that question, what is it that makes you what it is? And the podcast, it is an extension of that to me. And I can't wait to unravel all of the things we've been through so everybody can experience what we've been through the last 6 months together, the fights, the togetherness, the love, the hate, and everything in between. And I'm thoroughly grateful to be here with you guys and girls doing this. So
yeah,
I think he was talking about Melvin when he said girls.
I was about to say, you motherfucker, you better fucking not be talking about me when you say you little girls. No,
not me. Never.
this is going to be a ton of fun. I can't wait. And if you fuckers out there who are listening enjoyed any bit about what you heard, and if you didn't, then jump on the website, submit your fucking inquiries. Let's hear from you guys. Give us some material. We're here for you. Can't wait to run this podcast, fucking talk some shit about some people, troll some motherfuckers, hopefully hurt some feelings along the way. This is only one of many.
Steven, did you have fun?
Definitely, I had fun. One of the questions that still remains to be solved is like why Clemenza has like black hair, and he's from Italy. Or
What kind of hair should I have?
I don't know. I don't think it should be black, but it should be gray.
Okay. No, it's, I guess, brown, black, gray.
You think he told Philly to put some Just for Men on it? Color him in a little bit?
Touch of gray? No, there's no touch of gray there.
Well, listen, I want to thank you guys for jumping on this ride with me and Painters. It was a hard road choosing who was going to come on between people bailing out, flaking out, and then just, trying to make sure we had the right blend. This felt really good. And so I hope the people that are listening to this, I hope you guys enjoyed it. Ultimately, we're doing this for you guys. We're doing this to show you guys that we're willing to put in a lot of extra work to build the bag and to value the investments that I've made and y'all have made to be here. And so hopefully this has been entertaining, and hopefully long-term we're able to onboard new members who are already in Web3 and people who maybe don't know what an NFT is. So make sure you hit up that website, and we are super excited to see you next week.
Oh, they want a fucking prayer on the first episode, dude. It's only right that you.
All right. So just maybe not everyone. We'll see how it goes. We'll see what the people want. But to close out the first one, I guess y'all are correct. It wouldn't feel right without a prayer to seal it with. So, dear God, we want to thank you so much for everything you've done for us up to this point in this project and bringing us together. For those of y'all that have heard us for the last 6 months on Spaces and on different platforms, and you didn't grab a token, I feel so sorry. I feel so sorry for y'all. We fucking told y'all. We fucking told y'all. We fucking told y'all. And so tonight, I want to pray for all the people who tried to get in the way of this motherfucking train, all the people who tried to FUD it and stop it and throw dirt on it and act like it wasn't going to be shit. We're out here working. And I pray that they continue to watch us and they continue to be envious and sad and outpriced, and they develop mouth sores. I hope that their pillows stay soaked from now until eternity, till 69 Ethereum, I pray. Amen.
Lord have mercy.
Amen.
God bless you.
Gesundheit.